back in the building at Flowhio Studios, the house that Serge and Alfie built. It is May 8th, 2021. I am Solomon Davis, and you are currently listening to His, Hers, and Ours, a real-life couple holding real-life conversation with real-life friends. I am here also with my wife and co-host, Miss Shannon Royal Davis. How you doing today?
I'm good. You introduced my whole name and everything. I love it.
I mean, had to pay respect to the family that got you here. And before we get started, I want to say earlier today I found out some news that I lost a close family member. So RIP to Arson Butler, and prayers go out to the Butler, Randolph, and Hall families. If you need anything, hit us up. We're here. We got your backs. But also this weekend we're celebrating Mother's Day weekend. And I want to give a happy Mother's Day to all the mothers that listen, watch, or who may not be listening to us right now. Just know that, we give love to all the mothers that are out there. I want to say happy Mother's Day to my wife for bringing my child into existence. I appreciate you. I love you for it. And thank you.
You're welcome. That's a gift that keeps giving. So, hey, I accept all kind of presents at any time. It's not just one day for us.
So what's been going on? How was your week?
This week has been kind of taxing a little bit mentally, in a sense. But mostly you have to think about, what makes you happy. So I am totally grateful for just being able to be here and just enjoying, life.
Very good. So we have no official guest today, but as always, we're joined by, part of the Flowhio Studio family, Mr. Alfie Santana.
Hello.
He'll be chiming in as he usually does. So,
yeah.
Anything?
Thank you, sir.
No problem.
I appreciate that. I do want to shout out my own mom, me and Serge's mom, for being a really great mom. And of course, we had suffered our own loss recently, to my grandma. So RIP to grandma, and we're holding it together. We're gonna be all right.
Very good, very good. And like you said, with Serge on the other side, Serge, shout out to you, dropping the new music this week.
Oh, yeah.
Got the heat in the back pocket that he letting everybody hear.
Yep.
So it's going to be a hot summer.
The summer is going to be crazy.
That's what's up. So I want to start off with the whole, Mother's Day theme and what have you. I've been around your mother for a greater part of my life, and as y'all know, my mother passed in 2007, and I did the math. It's kind of odd, I've actually gone a third of my life without my mother. It's 33% of my life without my mother, so it's kind of, Mother's Day is kind of a awkward experience for me because I get to celebrate, my only living grandparent right now, which is my paternal grandmother, when at 89, 90 years old, or soon to be 90 years old, she gets around pretty well and is probably a woman who never completed high school, probably one of the smartest women that I know, just from life experiences.
Yeah.
And with that, I wanted to ask, can you explain the impact that your grandmothers had on you, and especially you and your sisters growing up?
So I too only have one living grandparent, and it happens to be my grandmother, who is 89 years old as well. And her mom lived to see 100 years old, and we were there to celebrate her and have these generations, each family had their generations there. But my grandmother and my mom and just the women in my family, just in general, all the mothers, my aunts, all of them, they're very strong women. So I've had the ability to understand how to be a free thinker, in a sense. My mom just really kind of taught us how to just be ourselves, be comfortable in our skins, understanding just your voice, your power. And those women echoed the same sentiments. My grandmother, my dad's mom, who is the only living grandparent that I have, is the one grandparent who was she had her own restaurant. So my grandfather followed her dream, allowed her to chase her thing, and that was the beauty of just understanding her dynamics. And now, mind you, she may have pulled the strings behind the scenes because she never really yelled at us or whatever and that kind of stuff. They were different. my mom's mother was one who was the disciplinarian, kind of want to spank us all the time. So we run from her. So it was really cool. Like we just had a different and a unique balance. So I'm forever grateful just for my mother and her sisters, even my grandmothers and my aunts and all of those for just the roles that they played in our lives.
So I know that, the relationship that you and your two sisters have, I see the relationship that your mother has with your aunts, her sisters. Do you think that's a generational thing that's passed down through your family that, I'm not just saying just the sisters or the women in your family, because I know the bond that you have with your uncles and your mom has with her brothers as well. But, that sense of family, is that something that comes in being instilled because everybody looks at, the grandmother as being like the monarch of the family and she keeps everybody together?
So my mom kind of takes that role anyway. She was the sibling that kind of everybody comes to for whatever reason, like with decisions and stuff like that. That's why she thinks she's opinionated, even when her opinion isn't asked. She just kind of gives it. So, yeah, I think that just comes from that family dynamic. But to get off my family, because I know that it's difficult for you, and oftentimes we kind of struggle with this together. Like I kind of dread Mother's Day because I know that it's tough for you. Give me one piece of advice or you can give me the one piece of advice that your mom ever gave you that sticks with you, like one saying or an piece of advice.
That's kind of hard because I kind of look at Mother's Day and the day that I lost her as some really difficult times to deal with. It was, I think, 11, 12 years old when custody was switched between my mother and my father. So at that point in time, I had to realize that she had the wherewithal, the self-awareness to say, I can't, as a single mother, I can't teach him how to be a man. So I'm going to turn him over to his father. And I think that just that act alone, it wasn't one single piece of advice, but just that act showing her unselfishness by saying, you ain't taking my baby from me and what have you. She knew what was best for me as a young male, that I needed that father figure in my life. So to turn custody over to my father and let him raise me, although she was still around, it was more so that, you now have sole possession of him. I'm entrusting you that, you're going to raise him to be the man that he needs to be. So, like I said, just being self-aware and knowing that, she wasn't in a situation or a predicament to put me in the best situation for me to succeed in my life.
So even as an adult, did you share moments with her where, let's say, for example, where she gave you some, just even if it was marital advice, was there any piece of something that you would take away?
It's always hindsight because, my mom used to give me advice and I used to do the opposite anyway because I'm bound to prove her wrong. But, I look back at everything and say, you know what, damn, old girl was right, and I wish she was here that I can actually give her flowers and tell her she was right. But now it's like, the only thing that I can do is live my life to, know that she's looking down and make her proud of it. I think the one thing that I do regret is that Royal wasn't here for her to see.
First off, she wouldn't have been Royal because that would have been to your other wife. That name is...
no, if she was still here, and
through everything, you mean like just okay?
Exactly. So because she would have cherished having a granddaughter, and for as much love as I see that Royal is embellished with right now, and I just think that would have been one additional asset that or a resource that she'd have to fall back on, and I think that would have been something to complete my mom's life. And it's funny because I look back and I was like, damn, in 5 years I'll be the actual age that my mom was when she passed away, and we don't we don't necessarily always think about she didn't live to reach 50 years old, but damn, a couple years I'll be 50.
Right.
I mean, it's mind-boggling to think about it that way.
Right.
And how time flies, and we just don't have a sense of how fast time does fly. You and I said the other day, we look at how fast 3.5 years has gone by.
Right.
Raising a little girl. So.
Absolutely. Well, I'll share 2 pieces of advice that my mom has given me, and it kind of stuck with me. She gave this to me young at first, and her advice to us, and my sisters are a test, and she'll tell my friends the same thing, her thing was, you don't have to have a baby from every relationship. And I said that in our intro show, and that stuck with me forever because I really understood what that meant. Sometimes we find love and we find affection and we think a baby makes it that much greater. It solidifies something, and it doesn't. But she told us that early on. So you had a mindset of, okay, I can date these people, I can be all in love, but a baby doesn't have to be produced from every single love relationship, because you never really truly know if that's actually the one. So she wanted us to understand that early on. And then older advice she gave me is people will buy what they want and beg for what they need. And if you understand that concept, it will take you so much further in life. And it's funny, but it's true, because people will oftentimes spend their money on everything that they want, but let that light bill and that rent be due, they'll come begging to the next person. They have no shame in that, or hey, let me hold it until just Wednesday, or whatever the case may be. But you just bought those J's because you were standing in line. Like, it's priorities and understanding what's important. So I'm always grateful for that piece of advice, and that's kind of the concept that I take when I'm dealing with people and just in general in life and understanding.
I think the one piece of advice that I've heard recently from your mom, well, not necessarily recently, but she repeats it over and over again.
What don't
well,
you
your
repeat?
mother, it's like you can't tell people what to do with their own stuff. They can say what they want to all the time, but eventually it's theirs. You can't tell them what to do with their own stuff, and that holds true in a lot of situations. But the question I have for you is, being a mother 2 times over now, explain motherhood at 21 versus motherhood at 40.
Oh, wow. At 21, you don't really know yourself. You're just figuring out that you're an adult. And I'll be honest, turning 21 gave me like a bit of bravery. Like, guys, you like say, may want to say I had some balls, because I could say whatever I want to at that point. Like, I was like, okay, I can say it. I felt that way, and let me get off the chest, and I can take whatever they have to dish back. So that 21-year-old me was still learning how to be a mom, and the things that I learned on the cuff, or how I was just teaching that kid what I learned, what I already knew. And we were just going through life together. And so she had the unfortunate luxury of the bumps and bruises. This kid here, at this age, you have to grow and learn. So the best teacher is life advice that you've had. Now you're applying those things now in life, the things that you've learned, trying to sometimes right your wrongs, trying to fix things that you thought were broken or that you missed in the previous one. This patient, I'm a little more patient with her, a little more tolerant with her, because all the whining that she does would have never flown at 21, because I just was not that mom. I was a little more aggressive and a lot more hands-on with the first one. The second one is kind of like I'm still hands-on, very, aware of what she's doing, but kind of like letting her figure it out for herself somewhat. But I do tend to baby her a little bit, because I don't want her to just grow up so fast.
10-2.
It is what it is.
10-2.
I said what I said.
Okay. So with the influence that your mother had on you and having brothers in your house as well, explain mother. And I'm asking you because I can't say it for myself.
Because you ain't have no siblings.
No, not siblings, but I'm a male. I'll never be a mother.
Okay.
So explain how you think your parenting process would have been differently as a mother had you had a son versus having 2 daughters.
Oh, I don't even want to think about that. Like, the first time around, you was like, oh, I hope it's a boy. I hope it's a boy. Because I was a tomboy. I was like this active, like this. I didn't have a lot of baby dolls. So that first kid kind of got like, okay, I instantly love her. I'm going to protect her. I am going to fight for her. I'm going to do everything I can for her. However, when I found out she wasn't a boy, I was like, oh, man. So it's a bunch of girl stuff, like all this pink, bow reds. This isn't, because that wasn't me. But the parenting style for a boy, I wouldn't know. I never desired, like, once I had the first girl, I was like, the second time around, it could be a boy, it could be a girl. I didn't care. The second time around, I really just didn't care. I wasn't emotionally invested, so I don't know. But my heart goes out to those moms who have boys, because the level of care, the things that you try to look out for them. You know, me being a girl and a woman, I would try to catch those pitfalls beforehand. Like, son, look, you know, you have to understand what type of women or what type of girls you're dealing with. What are you looking for? So it's a little bit different. I applaud my friends with young men. That was not my journey.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's rewind like 10, 11 years pre Shannon and Solomon. Mm-hmm. So what was your mindset like dating as a single mother?
They couldn't see her until I was really serious. So I was dating, but she was a ghost to them. I made sure I always carved out time for her, and I think that's what it was. That's why when I did get serious, it was so difficult for her to adjust because she was so used to she and I always made it very, very, very clear that she was so important to me. So we spent a lot of time together. We did things together. We took trips. We talked. Like, there are, days during the week where you just go and have like a ice cream Tuesday or some crap with her. It was just those things that we did. I made time. But dating wise, nobody ever saw her. When she went to sleep, she don't even know if I was there or not. Cause I would leave, whatever. I was home, someone was with her. I don't get it twisted, but it was the fact that I dated while she was asleep, or if it was on the weekend.
You was a real night creeper, huh?
Well, whatever. Call it what you want. I was being a mom first, and so people had to understand that. So if late dates weren't your thing, 9 o'clock on a weekday, it was too late for you, I understand. Save it for the weekend and the weekends that I didn't have her. Or if we went week to week, like there were some times where she would go from Wednesday to Monday with her dad. So that's how I would date when she wasn't around.
So what's the best piece of advice that you could give a single mother entering into a relationship right now with someone who she can see a potential future with?
First, I'll make sure, understand that he checks those boxes as far as family goes. Like, what is his priority? What is his intention? Does he understand the dynamic of having a kid involved in that and the influence in the role that he plays? Don't bring everybody, everybody's not going to get to see your kid. They're not going to meet your child. They're not just the old maid. They're being who they want you to like in the beginning. But if it's someone that you potentially do, then you start to try and include them. You introduce your kids, let them know where you are. But you need to have that conversation first with your child. Like, help them understand, like, hey, I'm mommy's dating, and this is what I'm doing. And it depends on the age of the children. Some kids get it, some don't. I think, dating about 10 or 12, like, that was a rough patch because, of course, she's in middle school trying to figure out herself. And then here I go complicating it, dating someone. And I expressed to you then, I was like, this is going to be real hard. She's going to kick you away. And I'm just telling you up front. So you kind of had to figure out what it was. But because she was an only child and you have that only child background, that was your kryptonite. You knew what to do and how to maneuver. Everybody doesn't know how to do that. So my advice just to moms is that while you have to find you, because these kids are going to grow up, just be be selective. Mm-hmm. And understand what you want. If it's a booty call, they ain't got to meet your baby. If you just smashing and grabbing, I don't judge you because I know I was that person at some point. Like, hey, we just smashing. This is not a relationship. We are not doing this.
Wow.
Yeah, I was. And what you mean outlet like that? I was being upfront. I was being honest. There were people I saw like, okay, I could date them, but they weren't marriage material. Like, the red flags were left and right. I would say, so yeah, we're gonna keep you in the smash zone. We're not going past.
So there's
this.
A smash zone.
That wasn't mine. That was mine. I don't know what these ladies have now. But yeah, it was a smash zone. It was what it was.
So I got a question. So, in that regard, how quickly would you indicate that, hey, I'm a single mom? Is that like off the jump, or is this something that came up in conversation?
Up front. Like, I'm going to tell you up front, I am a mom. There's no need for me to hide that because you need to understand my whole dynamic. I'm a mom. I work. My child is active. So I am going to be an active parent in her life. Like, that's it. Now, it's up to you what kind of questions you lead after that, but you have to understand coming in that I am a mom.
So, funny story, Alfie. We made it known on his, hers, and ours that, I had an interest in Shannon way back in high school and what have you.
Right.
And we didn't actually get together until about 10, 11 years ago. But even before that, there was a time that I asked Shannon to just meet me at a sports bar to watch a Bucks game.
Right.
I'm like, you know what? She gonna put me in that Smash song. You know what I'm saying?
You knew that?
I knew that.
You had that in the back of your mind?
Hey, but then she pulled one that I had to respect. She's like, I can't make the sports bar tonight. My
I told
daughter's
you
sick.
well in advance.
My daughter's sick, so I don't know if she really pulled the motherhood card on
Yeah.
me, or, and it wasn't well in advance. It was like 2 hours before we were supposed to meet.
Whatever. It was well.
That's not well in advance. Are
No,
you
it was
kidding
well.
me?
I think it was. I think I told him early on in the day, and he wants to put it as 2 hours.
It was
Well in
2
It
hours.
advance
probably
is
was at least
a
4
day or two.
hours. I was gonna say 4 hours at least. So you can cancel a reservation or whatever.
She already knew if we would have went to that sports bar together what time it was. So
No, it wouldn't have.
Hulk
And let me
smash.
explain something, because Solomon and I have family ties. Like, our family know each other, like, really good. So I knew him, and I know his daddy. So his daddy from the Book of Solomon, it must have been a player book, because that's what it was. Just knowing his dad, the apple don't fall too far from the tree, and it was a slow roll down the tree. So you think I was going to play with him and understand, like, going to dinner that he was going to be in a Smash Zone? He was not. He was not even on my radar like that. I was keeping him so friend zoned, and that's where it was.
Wow.
One, he was coming out, like, he was separated.
not at that point in time.
So you was just out here.
Hey, it was what it was.
What?
It is. What
So
it is.
so now I really wasn't coming at a Smash, because my mind was like, okay, he's married, and we're just going as friends because we knew each other. I would not have ever. I wasn't messing with married men. That wasn't my thing. I wasn't attracted to rings. It was too many single guys out here doing the same thing. Why would I? That was never my thing. So if I would have went to that thing, it would have just been dinner, and would have been talking sports. Because I can talk sports all day just like the guys.
Alfie, because it's Mother's Day, I'm gonna let that stand as the truth.
No, because that is the
If it
truth.
wasn't Mother's Day, then we go back.
Well,
and forth
the
on
day
this,
is
but,
Saturday, Mother's Day tomorrow. But
you
go
know,
ahead.
In respect to Mother's Day weekend, I'm gonna let that ride.
You let that slide.
Yeah. So
Solomon, don't even do that.
what do you mean?
Don't do that. But go ahead.
So you don't think the same Solomon that you became interested in sitting down there at Ybor City?
I wasn't interested in you that night, Solomon. We met up. That was our first actual date, like, for real. We met up. We sat on a bench on the street, like on 7th Ave. Don't get me wrong. It was nice. It was really nice. Nice night. We're sitting there just having conversation, just talking life, what he's going through, what's happened, catching up because his mom had passed. Like, we were just catching up, really checking in. And that conversation lasted till about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
You love
People
those
were riding
conversations.
by. Yeah, people were riding by on the street talking about, "Hey, Shannon," like screaming. He like, "Really? This is what people doing?" Hey, I'm speaking, and it is what it is. That night, you ain't getting no draws. Like, stop playing. You weren't getting none,
wasn't
and you
trying
wasn't
to,
gonna
but
get
if
none
I want-
at the
if
at
the
If the
state
opportunity
bar.
presented itself, I think it
Well, the
probably would.
opportunity wasn't. Understand me. I am very much aware of how I feel towards people and what I feel about people. If it was a guy that I was interested in or something, we go on a couple of dates. Like, I try and figure him out a little bit, and we talk and that kind of thing. And before I have no problem saying, okay, like, look, this is a part. Like, so this is a part of my dating process. I'm test driving that car. Like, I'm not gonna just go purchase this product and not know what it is. Okay, so that was me dating. But I knew if I wanted that, I'm a woman. If a woman says, "Okay, yeah, I think I'm ready. Let's do this," what guy is gonna be like, "No, I want to still get to know your mind." They weren't. So I was always very comfortable knowing that I was in control of that part. So me and Solomon going out, we could have went to the most sexiest place. If I wasn't ready, and at that point, he wasn't getting nothing.
See, Alfie, you have to have mind control. I let her think that. But what?
It's an vibe.
I taught her this word, and the word is end game.
End game.
11 years later, where is she at right now?
Getting smashed by you.
End game.
End game.
So obviously
It
my
is what it
tactics
is.
work.
No, your tactics did not. You did something different. And I'm not going to share what different it was because I see your face. You think I'm just going to share my game? Brother, please. Anyway, you were just a little bit different, and it took a little bit of time, but it was what it was.
That show eventually cracked, and
Yeah,
Show was cracked
unexpectedly.
day one.
No, it wasn't. Solomon, don't
Day
you do
one.
that. Are you seriously hyping yourself? Don't do that.
Listen, I mean, I
Do not do that.
You didn't even get the full assault. Basically, if I would have just said, you know what, it's late, I'm going to be respectful. Let's go back to my house. You can have the bed. I'll sleep on the couch.
Boy, I wouldn't even play for that. Don't even come for me with that foolishness. Don't do that. Do not do that. Because I was getting that kind of game stuff was trying to be done in college. Don't get it twisted. I was way past that. I'm way past that. That is not what we're doing.
You sure?
I'm positive.
Okay.
I'm positive.
Okay. So with
no
her,
Netflix and chill.
What's that?
No Netflix and chill.
No,
Nah,
not at all.
it wasn't none of that.
Not at all. But trust me, like I said, mind control.
Yep.
I'll give you the true story when she leaves.
So why is it the true story when I leave and when I'm in front of you?
Because when you leave, when you here, I'll be quiet. When you leave, I'll be talking again.
I know. But that don't mean you'll be speaking truth.
Oh man.
So with that being said, we're going to head into the first break. The first song that I have for the break is something to celebrate Mother's Day weekend. Song that a lot of people associate with Mother's Day. When it was first dropped, Tupac dropped Dear Mama. But it isn't the original version. I kind of fell in love with the remix with Anthony Hamilton on it. So we're going to go to Tupac featuring Anthony Hamilton, the Dear Mama remix. We'll be right back.
When I was young, me and my mama had beef, 17 years old, kicked out on the streets. Though back at the time, I never thought I'd see her face. Ain't a woman alive that could take my mama's place. Suspended from school, was scared to go home. I was a fool with the big boys, breaking all the rules. Shed tears with my baby sister. Over the years, we was poorer than the other little kids. And even though we had different daddies, the same drama when things went wrong, we blame mama. I reminisce on the stress I caused. It was hell, hugging on my mama from a jail cell. And who thinking elementary? Hey, I see the penitentiary one day. Running from the police, that's right. Mama catch me, put a whooping to my backside. And even as a crack fiend, mama, you always was a black queen, mama. I finally understand for a woman it ain't easy trying to raise a man. I know it ain't. You always was committed, a poor single mother on welfare. Tell me how you did it, there's no way I can pay you back. But the plan is to show you that I understand. You all appreciate it. Mama, don't you know I love you? Dear mama, please, no one above you. Dear mama, I appreciate you. Although my shadow's gone, I will never leave you. Now ain't nobody tell us it was fair. No love from my daddy cause the coward wasn't there. He passed away and I didn't cry cause my anger wouldn't let me feel for a stranger. They say I'm wrong and I'm heartless, but all along I was looking for a father, he was gone. I hung around with the thugs, and even though they sold drugs, they showed a young brother love. I moved out, started really hanging. I needed money of my own, so I started slanging. I ain't guilty, cause even though I sell rocks, it feels good putting money in your mailbox. I love paying rent when the rent's due. I hope you got the diamond necklace that I sent to you. Cause when I was low, you was there for me. You never left me alone because you cared for me. And I can see you coming home after work late. You're in the kitchen trying to fix us a hot plate. You're just working with the scraps you was given. And mama made miracles every Thanksgiving. But now the road got rough, you're alone. You're trying to raise two bad kids on your own. And there's no way I can pay you back. But my plan is to show you that I understand. You all appreciate it. Don't you know I love you, dear mama? Please, no one above you. And dear mama, I appreciate you. Although my shadow's gone, I will never leave you. Pour some liquor and I reminisce. Cause through the drama I can always depend on my mama. And when it seems that I'm hopeless, you say the words that can get me back in focus. when I was sick as a little kid. To keep me happy, there's no limit to the things you did. And all my childhood memories are full of all the sweet things you did for me. And even though I act crazy, I gotta thank the Lord that you made me. There are no words that can express how I feel. You never kept a secret, always stayed real. And I appreciate how you raised me and all the extra love that you gave me. I wish I could take the pain away. If you can make it through the night, there's a brighter day. Everything will be alright if you hold on. It's a struggle every day, gotta roll on. And there's no way I can pay you back, but my plan is to show you that I understand. You all appreciate it. Don't you know I love you, dear mama? Please, I can never please no more, mama. I appreciate you, although my shadow's gone. I would never leave you. I appreciate you. I love you. I need you. Oh, I love you. I love you. Appreciate you. I need you. Oh, I appreciate you. I love you. I need you. Oh, I love you. Appreciate you.
We are back. His, hers, and ours, a real life couple with real life conversation with real life friends. I am your co-host Solomon Davis with.
Oh, you let me say my name?
Say my name.
Shannon Royal Davis. So I will take segment 2.
Take it.
We're gonna. I know.
Take
so
that. Take
look,
that.
we're
Take
going
that.
this way since that's where we're going anyway. So for men, I'm just gonna say men in general or men out here dating. For me, I know what I was looking for as far as like if I had a smash category. Guys, I'm sure you all have that same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So when you were dating and you seemed to come into relationships with women with kids, were you targeting mommies? Were you trying to get the mommy nanny?
I mean, I wasn't necessarily targeting that, but let's keep it real. I mean, at the age I was going through that phase, it was a rarity to find a female that didn't have any kids. So, I mean, it was just already thought about that. You know, if I see her, I don't know her, but I'm just going to assume that she has kids.
Okay.
Because to find a woman 30 plus with no kids, I mean, that's almost entering unicorn status.
Yep.
So,
They do exist. So how did you interact, or like what was your approach with women who had kids, or if they had, like, did you have a limit in mind, like they can only have like 1 kid, 2 kids, what?
no, because at that point in time, I don't think I had relationship intentions with them.
Oh, so you was just trying to get the mommy nanny. Go ahead.
Hey, I mean, it is what it is. You got to have a look. People, when they're dating, they have, I wouldn't say dating, when they're out there and they meet somebody, they have a specific target in mind. And
So
it's
moms were low marks or something?
like I keep trying to tell
Are
you.
you serious?
But I keep trying to tell you,
Oh,
end
we're
game.
getting this. Yeah.
End game.
So moms were targets, low hanging fruit. Was that what it was?
So they're at home. If they're a single mom, kids have been nagging them all day, all week, all month. They want
I
some
wanna
type
chime in
of
on this.
release.
Player mode. Here we go. Go ahead.
I'm gonna chime in on this
I
one.
mean, I won't say that's the Book of Solomon. That's the Book of Saul.
Yeah, your daddy. So you
Book of
understand
Saul- the
why
Book of
I
Saul
knew
is
how to
player
go out
role.
to date. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But go ahead.
The Book of Saul is just player role. The Book of Solomon is wholesome. So
Wholesome. Wholesome. Wholesome, not wholesome.
Wholesome family
He
man.
Wholesome. He's old,
Wholesome.
but go ahead.
Wholesome.
So in that, like I said, you know, they're looking for some type of relief, you know, and if this guy makes them feel like they're on top of the world for even just a minute, it's a relief from what they've
Single
gone
women, beware. Go ahead.
through. I mean, it's a game, and don't act
Mommies.
like y'all don't play the game.
Yeah.
Mommies. Oh, I'm always up for a good dinner. Don't get it twisted. Even
Okay.
as a single mom, like I was up for a good dinner. Oh, let's go to eat. Okay, well, can I pick or are you gonna surprise me? I think your thing was you like being able to. You like a wow effect. You like the wow factor. You did because you didn't take. So for us, I think our first place we went to go eat at together, like just chilling after a date, was like Village Inn because we had been out all like talking all
yeah.
night. So
That's
we
a
were
good
just
spot
going
to
to
go
grab
to.
something to eat.
Okay.
But every date after that was like a notch up, and the next
Was
one
it?
was up. So where was the next one we went to?
To be honest with you, I don't remember.
Yeah, because you was too busy taking everybody to the same places. Yeah. So that's how you do. So that way you don't have to worry about misconstruing where you took somebody. You probably took Keisha to somewhere during the week and took me to that same place.
Shout
So
out
at
to
the
DMX.
same-
It was Keisha,
Yeah.
Tawanda,
Yeah, all of them. Yeah, all of them. So,
about 3 Kims.
but that's how it works. That was how your mindset. But Solomon is. I've never shied away. Solomon's a romantic. He get it from his dad because his dad has this player mode. I'm talking about even when he just come in, he's so cool. I am Soul. Like he is freaking Zorro or something. He gonna just. So that's how he acts. So his son acts the same way. So understand when I was dating him or we were going out, I never necessarily went out with the intentions of, oh, like he's going to be the one. That was never my mindset. Or I'm going to let him get this. No. I think
And I still got it. So what does that say about my game?
It wore me down. It
Exactly.
did.
Eventually.
You got pity for...
Well, she admits to
You almost
finally.
got it.
Hey, I ain't
You almost got
I'm
pity.
top 2, but I ain't number 2.
Well, me either. Okay, so play with it. So, anywho...
No.
To go in and you wanted to chime in on that, Alfie, in regards to women with kids, like what is it like low hanging fruit for you? Like what is it that is that something that seems to attract you, or is it just the fact that it's a numbers game?
Okay, I felt like I was a little scarred in this subject in my younger years because I dated a couple women that had kids and the baby's father was in the picture.
Oh Lord!
And it was one of those situations where they kind of snuck themselves back into the situation, and I just got brushed off. Like
Gotcha.
I didn't count.
Oh, okay.
So I got real hesitant over the years, and then like in my current state, I'm a little bit more open minded.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not so like timid anymore in regards to that, but I think it's still cautious in the back of your mind. Like you don't want that situation to repeat itself again. That happened twice. I don't want it to happen again.
But you too have to be smart about understanding like what like those are questions that you should be asking. I'm like, where's this kid's father? Like, what's that relationship
Yeah,
like?
it's usually
So for me, when I was dating, I would tell you like because guys would ask that. You know, I'm like, nah, her daddy and me ain't seen each other at this time like since she was 2, and that's just to be honest. Like, she was about 2 at that point. Like, and he was with somebody. I'm like, yo, we ain't doing this. I'm never gonna be second to anybody at this point. You know, like this is where we are. But people clearly understood where her dad was and what he did and how, you know, that was their relationship. He had somebody. I wasn't trying to tear up their house, and I was clear even with the person he was with. I was like, I don't want him. So when he comes over here for his kid, he's really coming for his kid. So it's just those kind of conversations that have to be had. And before you do it, so if a girl would have got like she had the baby a year old, sometimes that's a little iffy because you know dads can be like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, actually, that happened. I think in both situations, the kids were like really young within the last maybe 4 or 5 years or whatever the case is. So you know, the father was still involved, but they wanted to live their life or something like that.
Gotcha.
And I guess eventually the guy kind of got himself in a better situation with them, and you know, I'm sorry.
And that's always going to be something that plays in your mind. Did you?
So, Alfie, funny story. You know, when I met Shannon, I wouldn't say met Shannon. When I first met Shannon, you know, it was like I said, that initial interest in her. When she kind of made it clear that she was dating someone and had no interest in me at that point in time, we were just friends. High school age.
Yeah.
She goes off to college, you know, ends up getting pregnant in college. I had no clue of who her baby's father was.
yeah.
I actually went to school with the guy.
Yeah, they did.
And I mean,
Wow.
I
we
mean,
were
let's
cool
not
in
fall
school.
all the way out the chair like
No, I
that.
mean,
We ain't
Tampa's
doing
very
that. It's
small.
small.
The Tampa
It's
is very
small.
small.
It's small.
I mean,
And, you know, I knew that, all right, Shannon's raising this child, and when we first started dating, you know, Jaden is like 10 at that point in time. I really did not know who her father was. And then when I realized who it was like, for real? And not that I have anything against him, what have you, because when I knew him, he was a good dude. So everything was cool at that point in time. But that dynamic of, all right, knowing that the girl that I'm interested in now has a child from somebody that I know, how awkward would it be running into that person?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you got to realize that I always have to give respect to him as the father.
That's
regardless of what goes down at any point in time, he still is the paternal father.
But he had no bearing on any dating or anything else going in that regard.
I'd show him respect. The only thing that I kind of wanted to make sure was in place was that there was no disrespect in our relationship.
Right.
You know, between Shannon and I. And, you know, paths crossed a couple times and words were exchanged, but I think now at this particular point in time, we've gotten adjusted to the role that each other plays, and everything's cool. I think he respects me for the role that I've played in his daughter's life. I'm always going to respect him that, you know, that's your paternal daughter, Jaden's paternal father. So everything's cool there, but that is a huge role to have to play in a potential relationship when you're dating single mothers because, I mean, baby father drama, I mean, it's out there.
Yeah, like I said,
you didn't have no baby father drama.
You sure?
It wasn't like that. Don't even do that.
Like I said, there were some words exchanged.
Yeah, but that was because when people aren't doing what they're supposed to do and someone else is doing that, they get a little bit of jealousy, you know, and that's the thing. I think men, you have to check your feelings at some point. When that happens, you have to check your feelings as a man. Like, are you mad because someone is doing what you should be doing as a father, or you should be happy? Because I'll share this. When my daughter got a little bit of age, she probably was like maybe about 4 or 5, and her dad, you know, his girlfriend at the time, they were getting ready to get married, and my daughter, I was giving her a bath, and I can remember her clearly saying, "Hey, Ma, I think I love her." I said, "Girl, me too. I love her too," because my attitude was, if my kid feels that way, that means she's doing something good. That's whatever. So what do you want to call her? If she want to call her mommy too, go ahead. I had no problem because I knew the mother I was. It didn't take away who I was at the end of the day. It didn't change anything. I was happy that there was somebody out there that loved my kid enough for her to feel that special, to say, "Hey, mommy, I think I love her." And I promise you, she'll tell you to this day, my baby will tell you, my mommy said I love her too. And I did, because that's an issue I think that men struggle with when your woman is dating somebody, like when your baby mama is dating somebody else, or that man comes in. That's always something I think men need to try and figure out how to check their feelings. When Sierra and Future broke up and she started dating Russell Wilson, and he heard that little baby.
Bad example.
No.
Bad example.
He heard that baby say "Pops,"
Bad example.
and he got offended. My thing is, being a dad is a full-time job. Be there all the time. Like, don't just be on the phone. Like, why would you be mad? Why would you be mad?
Bad example.
Why is it a bad example?
I say bad example because, don't get me wrong, being a sports fan, I respect everything Russell Wilson does on the field. I think in front of a camera, Russell Wilson is a company man. He does.
I understand that,
he's very over the top. And so I don't know what happens behind the scenes. He could be the greatest stepfather to that kid ever. But my thing is, someone who's been a stepfather in a marriage to a kid twice over. I mean, my first marriage, I was a stepfather. This marriage I entered into as a stepfather. You always have to pay respect to the paternal father.
So what should the kid call? So I don't care nothing about that whole paying respect. That's a man thing. What does the kid do?
What do you mean, what does the kid do?
So for you and Jaden was older, don't get me wrong. She wasn't comfortable yet, like, 'cause she didn't understand, like, what she called you. So you let her call you by your first name.
I did whatever she did. If it was Saul, I mean, you've heard recently she called me Dad.
Yeah, Dad, whatever,
so it doesn't matter to me, but at no point in time will I ever try to take the place of her father.
I don't think he was taking the place.
That's a relationship that, especially as a young girl, you've even taught me this with our daughter. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be her first love. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna show her how a man should treat her.
Right.
You know, I'm gonna be that guidance. I'm gonna be that template that she looks at future guys and holds them to that particular standard. Mm-hmm. So at that point in time, I don't want to step on any other paternal father's template or a guide and what have you. I hope that relationship develops into what it is that she's hoping that it's going to be. So at that point in time, I'm not going to get on Front Street and say, hey, I'm your dad. Hey, I did
He
this
didn't
for
do
you.
that. The little baby said, come here, Pop, and people heard it, and it became such a big issue because that's what the baby chose to
But
call
why
him.
did they hear it? Because everything he does is placed on social media,
So
either
his-
between him or Sierra.
Right.
And if it wasn't the fact that they were celebrities, this wouldn't have been such a big deal. But
men
you have one of
get in
the
their
highest paid
feelings,
football
period,
players out there.
about that.
You have one of the highest earning female entertainers out there.
Is
and then you
she?
have somebody in the culture who everybody respects in Future. So
Okay.
now it's like everything this little boy does is going to be heard on TMZ or this and that
But
and what have you.
the
They need
point
to keep
of it-
parenting behind the scenes.
The point of it is that we live in a social media area, so whether they did it was set up, or somebody could have seen them out in the street and start, because people take out their cameras whenever they want to, and they could have been recording it, and you heard them catch Pop. Oh, hey, Pop. Why is everybody in such an uproar? Why was people mad about the fact that the baby called that man Pop? Should he be calling him, hey, Russie, hey, Russ, whatever? That baby felt comfortable enough. That was the name they came up with. Why is it a problem?
Like I said, at any particular point in time, when a DNA test is done, that's that man's child, meaning Future.
He's not
So
trying
whether
to be
he
the
didn't do,
baby's
whether he was
father.
whether
he
he
was
was
simply a father figure.
whether Future did what he was supposed to do in that given amount of time, I
y'all in
can't
y'all
speak for that.
feelings. You in your
But at
feelings.
the end of the day, that's still that child's father.
You're in
Th-
your feelings
That
about
child
it.
is still the kid, correct?
It's still
There
a kid.
is time to make sure that relationship is mended, and he plays the role as a
And
father.
his
that he
name
should
probably still hasn't changed. He's still Pop, and nobody has an issue with it. The bottom line is that people get in their feelings instead of understanding what the main point is. It's about that kid and their comfort. So at the end of the day, like I said, if Jaden at that age would have said, "Mommy, I think I want to call her mom." Okay, call her mom. She called me mommy. Ain't changed nothing, and I don't care. When she in the street and she call her mama, she better call her mama. I want her to be as respectful as possible. I don't want her to have to call her dad's wife or whoever it was, Miss So-and-so and Mr. So-and-so. Like, that sound like a business
It don't have to
arrangement.
be Mr. or Mrs. It could be just first name basis.
But that was whatever she felt comfortable and they decided on together. I wasn't worried about that because it never changed the fact that I was her mom.
Well, I mean, that's something that I think you and I are just going to have to agree to disagree on.
Yeah, we're going to disagree on it.
Because
Go ahead.
at that particular point in time, it's like I'm almost going back to what Jay-Z says. Imagine your kid playing football with another dad. It doesn't happen
because
like
that happens when relationships break up. People move on, and the thing about it, at the end of the day, I think that the people get so hyped up in their title, in their position, that they're not even concerned with what that kid feels. So if that's who they feel comfortable with and they want to create that name for them, be my guest. I'm not gonna fall out with that.
But with that title, with that name,
It comes responsibility.
exactly.
But has he failed on his responsibility?
But does it mean that he should be void of the opportunity to fill those responsibilities?
Absolutely not. And no one's taking that from them. The kid felt comfortable calling him that. That's the name they agreed
so
on.
let's say he says Poppy, Pop, whatever it is, and in the next 3 to 5 years, starting today, Future becomes the greatest dad ever.
Okay, that's still
And
his dad.
and then once this kid gets gets of age to where he can make decisions for himself and realize, although my mom and dad aren't married, my dad still handles his business, especially as a father. And then he comes back to Russell and is like, hey, I'm not calling you Pop anymore. You're Russell to me. How does
then
Russell
that's
feel?
then that's him. Russell's relationship has changed, but I doubt that happens. Most of the time, the name you give when you're a kid and that person continues to be a consistent role model in your life, and they continue to be a part of your life in that way, you don't just change their names.
I mean, and let's not get it twisted. I mean, shout out to both Future and Russell Wilson because
Why
it's
are we shouting these people out on this little?
because I don't want people to think that
it ain't that serious.
I don't
it ain't
think
pressing.
I don't think people understand.
And
the
they ain't
fact,
gonna
the
send no
role of the
cease and
stepfather.
assist. So
I mean-
I ain't shouting nobody out. Be your dad, still be your mom, be
He's
whoever
doing what
you
he
are.
should do as a stepfather.
I
I hope that Future steps up.
I'm
in
not
his role as a
questioning
father.
either one of their
I'm
roles.
As you know, I'm one of the greatest stepfathers, and you can put me on Mount Rushmore of that one. So,
Okay.
Especially in your
I can
book.
only say from my book. I
Exactly.
don't know if
I'm on the
everybody
Mount
else
Rushmore.
agrees in that category.
I'm sure the previous marriage will say the
Okay.
same thing.
You
so.
sure?
Absolutely.
I'm gonna get her up here on this show. Let's see how that works out.
Oh, you trying to cause major drama, huh?
Shout out to that first wife. Go ahead.
Major
anyhow.
drama. That's how you gonna do? Throw dirt like that? As you sip your glass.
We speak out.
Because I'm simply making a point in regards to, at the end of the day, adults have to get out of their own way. Stop worrying about get out your feelings. I know we're in the month of March and it's mental health awareness. Get out your feelings for a second in regards to when it comes to those kids. Those relationships have nothing to do. If you are done with each other, you're done with each other. But what those kids decide to call people should not impact the way you parent.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't change the function.
And it doesn't.
I mean, it's just a comfort zone that they built.
It is.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So with that being said, when you asking me that question, or asking us, I should say, myself and Alfie that question.
And Serge.
And Serge, even though he didn't chime in over there.
Serge said he ain't got nothing
It's
no part of
okay.
that.
It's okay. I'm going to pose the same thing back to you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, stepping out there, did you look at being a single parent, did you look at how many kids that a man had?
Absolutely. I looked at how many kids he had, how old they were, what was that relationship with that baby mama, because I'm not going to take on all that extra added stress. I wasn't bringing it. You weren't going to get that drama from me. I didn't want it from you. Mm-hmm. So if you had more than 2 kids and they was like 2 different mamas, I wasn't even messing with you. I was like, oh yeah, you're just going to spaz pal if that was the case.
Hulk smash.
Or I felt like that was it. We would go out to dating, but I would friend zone you real quick because I don't like all that extra drama.
So let me make sure I got this correct.
Go ahead.
Meet a guy.
Mm-hmm.
2 kids, 2 different baby mamas.
Mm-hmm. And they both living. The baby mama's living. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Smash zone.
Possibly.
Meet a guy.
He could be smash zone or friend zone. It don't matter.
Meet
One
a
or
guy,
the other.
no kids, never been married. Question zone.
Yeah, you're in the question mark.
So you'll question a guy with no kids, but smash a guy with 2 kids.
I didn't say I was necessarily smashing him. I said I was, but look, he obviously know what he's doing because he got 2 kids. So
maybe this guy knows what he's doing because he's smashing all over the place with no
but
kids.
he don't have no kids. That means he's shooting his gun right or something. I don't know.
Maybe his pull-out game's
aim.
on point.
Maybe his aim off. Maybe
his
he don't
pull-out
have an
game's on
aim
point.
at all.
Maybe his
So we
pull-out
don't
game's on
know.
point. Maybe he's just
All
well
I'm
protected.
Well, look, he's questionable because I need to understand, if you're this
Maybe
great of
he's
a
wearing
catch.
maybe
if
he's wearing
this great-
Kevlar
look,
coated condoms.
whatever. If he ain't feeling that, and then so he don't have any choice but to try and figure it out.
So-
All I'm simply saying is that I'm trying to figure him out. If he's this great of a catch and he checks all these boxes and he has all these different things going for him. Why am I lucky as no? Like I got the lottery ticket. How am I this lucky? I need to understand what happened. What's going on?
Didn't you
Maybe
get a lottery
just lucky.
ticket with a husband with no kids?
I don't know about all that. I may have
Didn't
to
you hit the
question the
jackpot?
state about it. What? I hit a pot, but I don't know if it was a jackpot.
You
whatever.
cashed the ticket in pretty quick.
Did I quickly?
Hey, homeboy, I don't know what you give me for Valentine's Day, but if it ain't a ring,
Time
I don't want
out.
no more
When I
jewelry.
started dating and after we started getting down the line, what did I tell you immediately? I said, look, I'm never going to be a long-time girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
So understand that either you know what this going to be or it's not. You ain't putting all the miles on this vehicle. She has a resale value. So don't play with me.
Does
if
she?
this is not where you are, absolutely. And the price is marked because she's rare. So let's go. I'm not letting you put all these miles on me. If this is not what you want to do, I'm looking for a commitment. I'm looking for something serious in the long term. If we're just playing games, you should know what you want to do. If this is not your goal, then let's move on. Let's not waste each other's time. So I was very upfront with that.
Was she?
She was upfront with it, but I mean, she never classified or clarified what a long time was in her perspective.
Yeah, you know what? Y'all got a real thing about the time.
What?
Time.
Because so for me, if you 5 years in and ain't nothing happened, like that to me, that's college.
Where's the breaking
That's
point in that?
college, and you went on some type of stewardship where you've at least interned and you know what that business is like, and you can decide what you want to do. After that, I can't. 5 years and older, like it depends on where you at. So like if he would have met me at 25, of course he probably had till I was 30. But I wasn't going to give him all that time. I'm already 30. I don't need you putting all these miles on my car on this side of the other side of the ride. I don't need that. That's not what we're doing. You need to understand what you want.
So we started dating at
33, I think, something like that.
I was 33, you were 32.
Okay.
So what was the What's considered long term?
What was their breaking point?
At that
What was the
time,
breaking point?
well, you met it. Because either it was going to be on or it was going to be off.
I mean, but you didn't say, "Hey, you need to make a move right now."
Do
No, I
everyone
didn't.
have that in the back of their minds?
No, we
Yes,
didn't. Yeah,
they
they
do.
do. They do. They do. We do. And so, like, for me, I think after 2 years, you can kind of figure out what you want to do. Like, I really think you've gotten to know them. You've taken a couple of trips with them. You may even live with them at this point. Like, so that to me, at like a 2 year mark, you should kind of figure out what you really want to do long term. I'm not trying to be sitting around here letting you just continue to put these miles on me. If you have no future, where do you see our future? If you have no game plan for that, then I'm not the one for you.
What about that point when they get to the where it's considered a domestic
Partnership. It wasn't gonna ever be that for me. I ain't gonna be nobody domestic nothing. And I think people get this misconception, and they always have this hard time about, well, you know, getting married and all this other stuff and both. Like, so for me, this is what I always took key in. If you're spent this much time with this person and you're that much invested in them, if something happens to them, let's say they had a bad car accident, you know who coming to make them decisions for them? Not you, because they may have even told you, hey, I want to be an organ donor, whatever the case may be. You know who coming? His mama, his daddy, his brother, whoever is next in line on that bloodline. If you're not married, you have no say-so. You won't even get the right to, they can tell you, oh, you going to sit at the back of this funeral because you don't have any say-so. So to me, if I'm investing that kind of time and that kind of money in it, like this is what I'm putting into this, I want to have some say-so. Not the fact that it's required, but it's the fact that if something happened, you could have been living in a house with that person all that time. Let's say they pass away. Your name may be on that house, but that portion of it belongs to somebody else at that point because they are the next in line. You're not. You'd either have to buy them out because they can sue you. Even though y'all own that, his name was on there, y'all ain't married, his family can sue you for his part. Make you sell whatever you have. So if I'm spending that kind of time, yeah, you're going to have to invest in me too. And if that means a ring and getting married, that's what it is.
But I mean, just to piggyback on where Alfie was going with that. So like our situation, our first date took place in 2010. We wouldn't say that we were probably dating or exclusive until 2011.
Mm-hmm.
We got married in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you look at it, let's say 3 to 4 years. Was that really your aim as to, hey, you know, after 3-4 years, if you ain't figured it out, then...
Truly, ultimately, yeah. That's how I felt. So look at it like this. This is how I was thinking, okay, 32, 3 to 4 years, okay, at this point, you get the picture? By 35, 36, if that's not what you're doing, I ain't got time to keep wasting.
Right, but how do you make that known? Because I'm going to be honest with you. We're sitting here now in the present. I had no clue that was what you were saying, that, hey, you know.
Oh, you would have had the clue when I would have been like, okay, buddy.
Right,
I
you
start
never,
deleting and blocking and moving
so
different.
I'm going to put it to you like this. Like, my first marriage. Met her at 19. Married at, 24, 25. So there was 6-7 years there. To the point where she finally said, hey, either, you know, you make a move, you propose, or the relationship's over. And that goes back to the Book of Solomon. Love.
Hallelujah.
Hey, love, loyalty.
Burn this book, okay?
Yeah.
Love, loyalty, or
script.
comfort.
Now-
I was very
Right.
comfortable. So in order to maintain that comfort, I proposed.
Wow.
We ended up getting married later. Well, we got married the next year, but
Y'all were young, too, when y'all
You got
were
a lot
dating.
more patience at that time. too.
Exactly. So at that point in time, like I said, 6-7 years
Yeah.
into it, and we've gone to moving into 3-4 different apartments, buying a home together, this, that, and the other, raising a kid. So I mean, I wasn't really trying to make somebody my wife on paper unless I actually had to. And when she made it known that it was, hey, either you propose or the relationship's over, it was like ultimatum. Hey, I'm comfortable in the situation. I put in this work. Go ahead and do that. Versus, you know, living and learning and maturing and going into the second marriage, you never had to make it known that, hey, we're at a time point now. It's either, you know, we getting married or we got to make other maneuvers. It was like I did it because I wanted to.
Okay.
So, like I said, where do women draw the line as to if it's going to be 3-4 years and I need to be married, or, hey, I'm just comfortable with the way things are right now?
Okay, but for me, and I explained that to you early on, so like you've even said it on here, I did say those things to you. For that first relationship, I can't speak for her. Y'all were young when y'all met, because I remember meeting her and I was like, oh, okay. And that was how my attitude was. And you picked up on it in me, like, you talking about what? What about, like, I was like, nothing. But he was very young to me, and I was like, to jump in.
She was throwing shame.
Shame?
She was throwing shame. She was like trying to shame me out of the situation. Like, oh, homeboy, yeah, you ain't get with me, and that's what you suffer. That's what you suffer.
No, it wasn't like that. I just knew that we were young. I knew you differently. Like, it was just different. And when I met her, she already had a kid too, and you were in your early 20s. So I'm like, yo, go live your life. Like, why is it like you wifed up so quick? Like, what is it about it? What is it about her? And when you can't explain that to me, and I was looking at him then like, what is this? Like, she got a kid? Oh, okay. I'm trying to make you think about it in a different way. I wasn't shaming her or shading anybody at 20-something years old. Granted, every woman, we make mistakes or whatever the case may be. I wasn't doing that. I was like, I know the tree he rolled off of. So I know his dad wouldn't have been just like, oh, okay, baby. Like, we all wifed up here, this and that. So it was different. So that was what I was doing. I wasn't doing. I was trying to make you think about it. Like, you going out you were back from college. You going to USF. You got a girl who has this baby. Like, you ain't even lived your life yet. Why are you already paying house? That was my response to him.
So you're trying to look out for your boy, huh?
Yeah, low key.
Oh,
but he
wasn't.
He was never good at. He wasn't good at clues. When I tell you whether they were nonverbal or verbal.
No
so
man
he was
is
never good at
Nah.
that. So.
Not one.
Were you trying to look out for your boy, or you was trying to make sure that you had your backup plan in place?
She wanted to make sure that there was a chink in the armor.
Exactly.
Nah, I was not. That was not the case because I
She was looking for a crack in the defense.
No, I wasn't because I had my own team going on, and he wasn't on the roster, so it was nothing to that.
So I came from a walk-on to your scholarship player.
Yeah, 30 years later.
That's all right.
Yeah, don't worry.
End game. That key word. End game.
End game.
Whatever. It was nothing like that.
So the end game of this segment is that we're going to head into break number 2. Come back for the third segment, wrapping up his, hers, and ours. I'm Solomon Davis with my co-host
Shannon Royal Davis.
We'll be right back on the other side.
You're always down for me, have always been around for me, even when I was bad. You've shown me right from my wrongs. Yes, you did. And you took up for me when everyone was down on me.
and no one else can do what you've done for me. You'll always be, you will always be the girl in my life. Ooh, oh, mama, mama, you know I love you. You know I love you. You know I love you, mama. Ooh, mama, you're the queen of my heart. Your love is like tears from the stars. Like tears from the stars. Mama, I just want you to know. I just want you to know. Loving you is like food to my soul. Never gonna go a day without you. Fills me up just thinking about you. I'll never go a day without my mama. You know, mama, you know I love you. Mama, you're the queen of my heart. The queen of my heart. Your love is like tears from the stars. Your love is like tears from the stars. Mama, I just want you to know. Mama, loving you is like food to my soul. Loving you is like food to my soul. Yeah. You are the food to my soul. Yes, you
We are back with His, Hers, and Ours. I am your co-host, Solomon Davis, with my co-host.
Shannon Royal Davis.
Segment 2 was a fun one.
Yeah, episode. He really.
Hey, listen, the
Stay
apple
off the
Ciroc got
bottom.
me. Hey,
Stay off the
Yeah,
bottom.
me
Puffy
too.
did his thing with the Ciroc. little buzz on episode 9 here.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
So, kind of want to open this third segment up since you and I are basically alone today with Alfie.
That sounded like a threesome, didn't it? But whatever. Look, Alfie talking about he team. Look at Alfie.
Nah, go ahead.
So, open it up a little bit between me and you. Our relationship.
Go ahead. What about it?
10, 11 years in the making, approaching 7 years of marriage. How has these last 7 years changed you?
Ooh. It's been a roller coaster. And sometimes I wanted to get off this ride. But I'll be honest, I think it's been a good roller coaster because I've seen myself grow in this relationship in the sense that I probably, before, I'm a runner. She's a runner. She's a track star. But anyway, because when I don't like things, I'll just kind of like, okay, I'm done, and I'll just kind of walk away from it. Being married in this relationship has forced me to kind of deal with some things head on, even when I didn't want to. But it's been, for the most part, I look back now and I'm in a better space.
So kind of in a way it forced you to, maybe there's things that in your past that you weren't ready for, that you were with Solomon able to face and able to overcome at some point.
Some things with Solomon, like I said, I wanted to get off this ride.
Yeah,
I would have wanted to get off this ride. But
you ever overcome those?
Yeah, we've overcome quite a bit. We've grown. We've gone through growing pains. I honestly say that I'm able to communicate with him differently. And from in the beginning, there were things that I would say, and I didn't really know like some of the effects or how he felt about it. Understanding his background, understanding my background, and understand how we work together, it kind of it helped me grow as a person. So I look at things a little bit differently. My perspective has changed somewhat. There are times that in this relationship he's restored my faith in man, and there are times when I was like, oh, you were who I thought you were. So it's kind of, it's a double-edged sword, but I'll say for the most part, it's been a roller coaster that I, even though I haven't enjoyed the ride all the time, it's been worth the fight. I've enjoyed the fruits of its labor.
There you go.
So I'll say that. For you, sir?
I think you opened up an aspect to me about trusting people's genuine intentions. I think coming out of the first marriage and meeting you, I was in a very selfish state, that it was all about me. And I think the first time that I realized, and I don't know if you remember or not, but I told a story on a previous episode of the date where we went to Courtside Grill, where I told you I was taking you to the Magic Knicks game.
Right.
So on the way to Courtside, we're crossing the Howard Franklin Bridge.
Yeah.
There was an accident, and when we rode past the accident, you said, "Lord, protect them." And that was the first time I had ever been with someone that we passed something that happened, and we don't know who those people were, but just out of your genuine, concern, you were just like, really quick prayer, Lord, protect them. And I was like, you know what? Just to have concern about any and every situation, even if you don't know those people, that was something that was genuine, and that opened my eyes, that kind of put my radar up on that. Hey, let me get to know this girl on an even deeper level. I mean, I knew I was already in there from one aspect because I was doing my
Any
thing.
state.
'Cause I was
so
doing
that
my
girl
thing,
was
so
lit. She's
doing
on
my-
the Mount Rushmore. Go ahead.
I mean, you might be on the
On the what?
Because you might be on the on the way to the other room. Yeah, that's what you might be on.
I mean, you might get a Hall of Fame, but Mount Rushmore. Mount
that's
Rushmore
what you're
being
saying?
the top.
So
four
then,
all-
while we on it, let's keep it 100.
So who was on your Mount Rushmore?
I mean, we talking moms, grandmas.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That part.
So in talking earlier and doing kind of show prep, you were telling me that there were some. That's why I opened this segment with our relationships per se. Questions that you may want to ask me about our relationship.
So I do. So in what way have I changed you?
Have you changed me? I think you've changed me in the fact that I don't worry that much anymore about what the outside world thinks. As long as the people that reside in the four walls of our house are taken care of, that's all that matters. Before, I used to look for approval from everyone to, hey, you got to be doing this, you got to be doing that. Somebody at your age, at your status, should have this, should have that. And, I mean, the older I've got, the more I realize that none of that really means anything. And so right now, as long as you and Royal are happy, and, and I don't mean to leave Jaden out,
But she
But,
got her own place.
she got her own place. So, it's when she's in our four walls, she's happy. But, as long as she's taken care of and, you and Royal are happy, I mean, that's truly what makes me happy. And it's not that, we have to have $1 million in the bank. We have to have this car. We have to live in this size house or what have you. And, for those people who are able to do that, God bless you. My thing right now is that, as long as my wife and kids are taken care of, I could care less. Before it was I had to make status quo, and in the previous marriage it was always like we were always trying to keep up with the Joneses, and not knowing that behind the scenes the Joneses are doing worse than what we are. So
Okay. So, what is the best date that I've ever initiated or taken you on?
Right off rip.
Right off rip.
Oh yeah, I know what you're gonna say. Go ahead, go, and you better say what I think it is.
I mean, off rip, I'm gonna say the date that you had to pay for at Timpano was after losing the bet.
Oh no!
After
I
losing
thought
the
you was
bet.
gonna say when I surprised you and took you to Ciro's, and
Ciro's
the
was
sexy vibe.
cool.
That
So
was in that.
I mean, just the whole vibe and the atmosphere of having to have a passcode to get in and knock. That was
Really?
and then
yeah,
it's
you
like
never-
these
have you ever been
secret
to Ciro's?
curtains.
I don't even know what cereal is.
okay. So
It may have
Ciro's
changed
is
since
they call it
COVID.
Ciro's Speakeasy, and it's down on Bayshore Boulevard.
Mm.
So you have to make reservations to go, and when you make the reservations, they give you a passcode to get into the restaurant. So you knock on the
Super
door.
exclusive.
You knock on the
Yeah,
door,
that's
and this
cute.
lady opens this little window, and you have to tell her the passcode.
And the place looks like it's on the back of like a town, like a
Yeah, it
high
looks like
rise.
at the bottom of a
high-rise,
condominium,
right?
You know,
And
so you walk in, and you're like, wow, it's dimly
and they're
lit.
dressed accordingly, like to the during the speakeasy era. So it's
20s,
kind of stuff.
30s.
Yeah.
I'm over here
Prohibition
thinking like
ages
dress
and
code.
whatever.
You gotta be all,
No, they're in their
No,
speakeasy.
that's how they're dressed.
Yeah.
They ask you to be, dressed accordingly, but they're not going to turn you away. And then you go and they seat you at this table, and these tables are surrounded with these sheer curtains. So you basically
it's
have
like-
this privacy, this exclusivity for you and your guests.
Kind of look like a boudoir, like you could be.
I actually told her were we married when we went?
Yeah, we were married.
Okay,
You
so
talking
we
about
were
we
married.
weren't married and together?
Back in the day, player stage, Book of Saul, not Book of Solomon stage. I mean, that would have been every date that I was taking was going
'Cause
there because I
it's
probably
really
could have got it
sexy.
right
You
there
could
in
get
the
it in
booth.
there.
I
It's
mean,
real
you can
sexy.
actually close the curtains and you probably could have got it in right there and nobody knew.
nice, very nice.
So I mean, that was one that I was really surprised by. But I gotta say, my favorite one was having you pay at Timpanos.
Because I lost
'Cause
a
you
bet
lost a
through
bet.
March Madness.
Oh,
Okay.
really?
Yeah, so we're super competitive. We talk about sports and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So I think that's one of the things that connect us too. Like, it's so easy to be like, no, let's stay home. I can put on some sweats and we can watch the game. And like, so for me on a Saturday, like, I don't know what's gonna happen during football season because this might be on hiatus because I am like in the house watching football at 12 noon to all the games go off.
You ever
'cause
talking about
I'm
college or
college football?
Yeah.
Saturdays is like my day. And so that was one of the things that I enjoyed because it was hard for him at first. And he was like, what, you just want to chill and watch the game? Like, I don't know women do that,
No, you know what? A lot of women don't seem to do that unless you find that particular one that's really into sports, that's really into that.
So
Otherwise, when you offer that to somebody like, nah, babe, let's go out and do something.
Yeah.
I want to sit home all day.
here's the beauty, Alfie, of this. Shannon asked me earlier what was the best advice, my mom gave me. And like I said, I could just say that my mom was there to support me through everything, regardless of what it was, whether right, wrong, or indifferent. But the one piece of advice that my dad did give me that, I think cultivated this relationship was find someone who you don't have to change yourself about. And being a sports fanatic the way that I am, meeting someone like Shannon who had just as big of an interest in sports as I did. I mean, like you just said, how often you meet a girl who you say, hey, what you doing on a Saturday at 3 o'clock? Boy, don't call me. I'm watching the game.
And getting annoyed when people like call. I'm like, do you not know my team is playing right now?
Who's your team?
So I'm a University of Miami fan. Like, I always loved them.
Oh.
That's my team. And if you say Ohio State, I would drop kick you through the goalpost.
I'm sorry, but this is Ohio radio, and it is the Ohio State University
I just
Buckeye.
watched the other night how y'all cheated us out of our.
really?
Y'all did, and you can own it. You don't have to say it because I don't watch the video.
Oh,
1,000
really?
times.
That's why we got the championship, and you don't.
Yeah, you barely got it because you cheated.
Barely.
Because the confetti was about to come down on y'all on that awful pass interference play call they called. Y'all was praying. Yeah, y'all was holding on to Jesus' hand right there.
But
But nonetheless,
it's rare to meet somebody that shares your same interests. I mean, me in this modern era is like gamer chicks, like maybe sports chicks, maybe it'd be cool. Yeah, it's hard to find those these days because a lot of them are into different things, and it's just a luck of the draw.
Solomon used to
honestly,
be into gaming a lot when we were dating early on. So, like, if a new video came out, I was like, oh, him and his girlfriend going to be up late night. So, I would just leave him because it didn't bother me. It didn't impact how
So
we
I'm like an
moved.
online gamer when it comes to sports games, whether it's
Yeah.
Madden, whether it's 2K or things like that. But all I can say to you on that is you got to put yourself in a situation to where you're in an environment where those women are. I mean, find yourself, if you want a woman who's into sports,
Go to a sports bar.
frequent sports bars, and then all I got to say is keep your antenna up. Dang, I was here last Friday. Did I see that same girl here last Friday? Pay attention to, who she might be rooting for, who she might be cheering for, and what have you. And then, that's a segue to a conversation with her. You find out, all right, she's an Ohio State fan, let
She's
me
a
go.
loser.
You know,
What?
But go ahead.
but even if she's not, if she's a Michigan fan, you know.
Oh, no.
That's-
See, you can't do that. We
That's
can't
the
do
way to
that.
start a conversation, though. Hey, I mean, you know, we've gotten up in y'all the last 7 years in a row, you know. So, you know, just start a conversation, and who knows?
You really want to start with a house divided? Because that's how
Right.
that ends.
But
So-
sometimes there are people that we've met who are like rival fans. Like
Yeah.
one team, like one is a Florida fan, the other one's a Gator fan, like a Florida State fan. Like so, it kind of we found people that do that, and that doesn't hurt. That may be your only one, knock of each other. Like, but other than that, if you love them, that's the only one day y'all fall out. Because at first Solomon used to be messing with me because he's he rooted for his school, USF at the time. And I was like, you know what? I would never watch the game with him. I didn't want him in the room with me. He would watch in the front, and I would watch in the back, and that was it. But when the game was over with, we'll come out, talk to each other, whatever, and it's fine. But absolutely, we were not talking during the game
Oh,
because
no.
we didn't like the same
Imagine
team.
watching a national championship against Alabama when you're an Ohio State fan. So that was my experience this year. I was like, really?
So
Really?
yeah,
Can you just
so
be quiet?
that's how it is. I just didn't, and that was one of the things. But I would tell you one of the things that I take away from you is just learning how to just live, like splurge on those things that, like for me, something like you still ain't bought that for yourself. Like you had the money, you just won't do it. He lives in that moment, so he'll buy those extravagant things and be like, okay, see, you got it. It didn't hurt. We didn't die. Like you're okay. And that's one of the things that I have to get used to because I'm steady sitting up here like. That costs what?
Yeah.
Oh my! Like
I'm
so,
the same way.
You got to get out and live, and he does teach me how to do that. He has made me be more romantic, trying to be a little more romantic, and
How do you
still
do
working
that?
on that.
How do you do that?
I don't know.
don't
I learned how to speak up to him sometime and just tell him different things. So for me,
You don't kidnap him from work or whatever?
No, I don't.
take 'em
'Cause
somewhere?
I don't have time to do that. But I will say, hey, just, sit right there. I want to do something. And he always is really open to just like whatever. If she says, just try it, just try it. It is what it is. So I'm just working on those things. And he's taught me that it's okay. So I think a lot of guys miss that romancing women nowadays. But my husband
Some of us
hasn't
overdo
lost
it,
that.
I think, but...
Well, to be honest with you, Alfie, I mean, and I can't take the credit for it because, like, as Shannon would say, my dad kind of gave me the blueprint for it. But
Yeah, mine
even
too.
to re-emphasize how important that was, a relationship prior to Shannon, I was with someone who made me live in the moment for a lot
Right.
of things, and she showed me that, hey, listen, life is very short, so enjoy each moment to the fullest. Do things that you wouldn't normally do. I mean, her thing was she was a sports fan as well, but if we went to a live sporting event, don't just say you were in the building. Say you were, courtside. Say you were, on the 50-yard line. Say you were doing this, that, and the, because it's a
So I need to go
one-in-a-lifetime
holler at
experience.
her because that's the bull crap I be putting up with. Because sometimes I just want to go to the event and let's just be on the 100 level row. I don't have to be on and I guess because my experience with being able to be on the 50-yard lines and stuff like that has been so horrible because I used to have to go to college football games and stuff. And when you get those 50-yard lines and you're in that lower level, you're standing up the whole time because you can't see nothing.
No, that's true.
So that's why I always be like, okay, well, let me just get a little bit up so I can have the angle and still enjoy the view of it. He was like, nah, we got to get right here. So we go to get a courtside seat, and the goalpost is split in my head, trying to, But it didn't take away because you could see who you wanted to see. Really, they could actually jump up there and fall on you. I don't want to enjoy the game like that. I want to enjoy it.
So put it like this: before
know.
she and I together bought Bucks season tickets, I took her to a Bucks game, and we're like in the second or third row. They're playing Carolina, and she's like, "Oh, there goes Steve Smith right there."
So
So
watch
I'm like,
this.
she's like, "I want a picture of Steve Smith on the sideline." So I'm like, I'm yelling, "Hey, yo, Steve, yo, Steve!"
And they can hear you.
and this dude walking back and forth, don't even turn around.
I said, Steve.
Yo, Steve. He looks, throws up a peace sign.
And let me
everything.
take a
You
I'm like,
see?
so you heard my voice.
Yeah.
But
You
he
just don't
wouldn't.
turn
He
around
just
when
turned
you
You
around
got a
for
female
her.
voice. That's what it was.
Yeah,
what
that's
it
hearing a
was.
female voice. He's like,
But
oh,
I do stuff like that to Solomon now. Like we'll see people out, and he'd be like, "Oh Lord," I'd be like, "Look, it's once in a lifetime. What are they gonna say? No? If they say no, I understand and I respect their space."
Yeah.
But he'd be like, "Why you?" He was like, "Nah, I ain't tell you because I didn't want you to go up to watch this. Where they went?" He'd be like, "Oh, over there." I'm walking over there. Hey, excuse me, can I get your picture? Sure. Most of the time they say yes. take a picture, and I'd be like, okay, he'd be standing there looking like, this the crap I have to deal with. Absolutely.
But see,
he loves it.
I think that's a
It
female
does.
thing, though.
It does.
I honestly think that's a female
Maybe.
thing because in another
I
relationship,
agree with you. 'Cause-
in another relationship, I went to brunch with a chick, and we were at the First Watch on Dale Mabry,
Right.
having brunch and what have you. And I just happened to look around. This happened to be, it's got to
I
be
don't
like
mess with
11,
them
12 years
at-
ago.
when they getting their food.
So Derek Jeter happened to walk in. I'm like, oh, there's Derek Jeter.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, you want a picture? I'm like, no, I don't want a picture. And she actually gets up and goes over and gets his autograph. I'm like, why'd you do that, man? Let that man live his life. And you know, he's coming in here,
He
enjoy
eating like
brunches
me.
like you.
So
Exactly.
I must.
So
you ain't
I
gonna see
can't-
him every day.
I can't
Facts,
see
facts.
walking in saying, hey, man, can I get a picture with you? I mean, he put his pants on one leg at a time, just like I do.
Yeah, but you be low key wanting it though.
But he got $10,000
Yeah.
pant legs.
So let it
There's a
go.
difference to this.
I have my Ed Hardy jeans on at a time.
He could pay somebody to put his pants on for him if he
You know,
wants.
so let that man be in peace. But nah,
Oh.
she's like, I'm going up there. I'm gonna get his autograph. And
I
I'm gonna
got
get a picture
the.
with
You
him.
could have went and watched the loan text.
Yeah, that part.
Oh boy, I should have, man. We took a bad
That
one.
part.
So what else you got on the relationship?
That was pretty much it. I don't want to bombard it with all the relationship stuff because there is a game that I ordered, and I'm gonna do that on our little one-on-one date night and just kind of ask you
I
some
think it'd be
questions.
interesting. I think it'd be interesting you do that game on the air.
Oh, okay.
What
We
game?
can do that. Not a
there a
problem.
game?
It's a game it's a card game. I saw it on
saw it.
Instagram, and it's like conversations, but it does pull out different things in you. So it makes you think about some of the stuff they say. Like, and it
Oh, I
does
think I know what
ask
you're
like how
talking
we're
about.
talking about. Like, would you stay in a relationship with horrible sex? And so it was like them having this full conversation, and it's a video and everything. The people on YouTube talk, like they're talking, and the girl was like, "I absolutely leave you." Like that was her thing. So it was different things, just different topics. It asks you like, well, and I ask you this one: what do you do to secure your mental health? Like ensure your mental health, rather, I should say.
I take breaks away from my wife.
Really? They not long enough. Understand that.
No, I mean, it's just being self-aware and knowing when you need to actually take a step back. I mean, one of the things I can credit you for was instilling in me the fact that you don't always have to fill one person's expectations of you. You know, as long as you fill your own expectations, you're fine. If they're not happy with the person that you are, then that's on them. And so for me to take a step back and realize that someone else's expectations of me might not be the expectations I have for myself because theirs are a little bit, unattainable, or basically they have a level that they want you to meet that is unattainable. I can't live for them. I can't meet their expectations. As long as I can look myself in the mirror and be happy with the person I am day to day, I can say that you've instilled that in me, and any move that I've tried to make in my life since we've been together, you've had 100% backing of. So that's a point of mental health that I can say that to have someone that supports you in that time was, it's stability there.
Gotcha. So for me, I think I'm still learning how to decompress and get away and just relax a little bit, even if it's just taking a walk and kind of listening to my music. That's one of the things that I'm learning how to do. But as far as like maintaining my mental health, I'm very self-aware when I'm really stressed out about something, and I usually try and find my way of just getting some alone time.
Okay.
That's that early morning run.
Ain't no early
afternoon
morning
run.
nothing. Nah, no.
Ain't no early morning nothing with a 3-year-old in the house.
Right, because that sleep is broke. But no, I think it's more so of just getting out. Even when he comes home, I'll just take a walk by myself and just listen to the music, or just go upstairs on the patio, have the music playing, have me a glass.
Wait, I
and
have
a
something
steak.
for you guys. Do either one of you sit in your car and not go in the house for like maybe 15 minutes, maybe 30 minutes? Like
What? I wish he
prep
might
yourself
pull
to go
up.
inside.
Time out. I work from home, so I wish he might pull up and think he got 15 minutes to sit in the car.
So I'll be honest with you, Alfie, there were times where, not this marriage, in the first marriage, I wouldn't necessarily pull into the driveway and sit in the car. I'd actually take, as they call it, the scenic route home.
All the catch all the traffic.
I'm going to hit the route that has all the lights because I wasn't in a rush to get home. So
Yeah, no,
and
nah.
making sure I'm making all the phone calls to the side pieces.
Aligning like so he can. Yeah, that was in his first marriage. Cause the second marriage, look, what's the side piece number? Let me holler at her. Cause she finna be your whole piece.
So while you get the numbers to the side pieces, we're gonna go into the last break of the day.
We'll be right back.
I am Solomon Davis with
Shannon Royal Davis.
His, Hers, and Ours. We'll be right back.
Just tell me what I can play for you. Hey, you're right.
Yeah, it's the Pied Piper of R&B, y'all. Whoa, follow me. Chicago and them. Oh, yeah. Don Juan and them. Yeah. This is for y'all. The remix. Said I know that it's somebody's birthday tonight somewhere, and I know somebody's gonna celebrate tonight somewhere. I know one thing's for sure. I'm gonna put on my dancing shoes, then I'ma hit the door and go out and step the whole night through. Step in the name of love. I'm gonna step in the name of love. Then I'm gonna clap in the name of love. Oh yeah, clap in the name of love. I'm gonna step in the name of love. Ooh. Step in the name of love. In the name of love. Somebody breaking out the champagne somewhere, and you can be sure that somebody's gonna make love night until the day. Oh, one thing's for sure. I'm gonna put on my dancing shoes, then I'ma hit the door and go out and step the whole night through. Step in the name of love. Yeah. Clap in the name of love. Whoa. Clap in the name of love. Yeah. Clap in the name of love. Said I'm gonna step in the name of love. Ooh. Step in the name of love. In the name of love. Prove in the name of love. Oh, I wait till somebody else gets up. And I wanna be the first one to hit the floor. So tell the DJ to turn it up. Cause it feels so good. Dancing to this remix makes me wanna step. Cause it's a cut. In the name of love. Oh, babe. In the name of love. Gonna. In the name of love. Yeah. Clap in the name of love. Step in the name. Step in the name of love. Of love. Step in the name of love. Then I'm gonna groove. Yeah. Groove in the name of love. Step, step, side to side. Round and round, dip it now. Separate, bring it back. Now let me see you do the love slide. Step, step, side to side. Keep on stepping, dip it now. Separate, round and round, side to side. Separate and bring it back. Step, side to side, round and round, dip it now. Come on and step in the name of love. Now let me see you do while we're living. Let's step out, hit the club. DJ's rocking that song for us. Anybody asks why we're stepping, tell them that we did it for love, yeah. and George Daniels. I love you, baby. Henry Love. I see you. DJ Wayne Williams. Spinning the records. Make sure you spin this one, baby. Alright? And last but not least, let's not forget the most talented man in the world on the guitar. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Donnie Lyle. Play on, player. And all my fans out there, I just want to thank you for supporting me in this Chocolate Factory album and all of the albums I've ever done in my career. I thank you.
We are back for the final segment of His, Hers, and Ours.
Short segment.
Very short segment. My name is Solomon Davis with my co-host
Shannon Royal Davis.
So to wrap this last segment up, I'm going to address an issue that happened earlier this week, and I wanted to give clarification to. There was a situation on another Flowhio radio show where there was a heated exchange between two of the combatants.
Oh, Lord.
And I made the statement that a woman got backed into a corner and pulled the aggression card because a guy got over aggressive with her. I want to go online on air and tell her that if she felt offended by she was offended by me stating that she pulled the card, the aggressiveness card, out when she was backed into a corner, then I extend my apologies to her, Monica Sugar Shack from the Shizzle Show. But I
also from Not For Nothing.
Also
she
from
has
Not
that
For
show
Nothing
as well.
So just know that it was not to disrespect you in stating that you pulled a card, but I do want to bring up the topic that recently, as of late, because of empowerment that women do feel, oftentimes women assert themselves into, as we call, the arena, and they get just as aggressive with men. And when a man becomes overly aggressive or passionate with them, they respond back that, I'm just a woman. I felt, threatened.
Someone sounds like the police.
Somewhat so. So in that specific reign, as a man myself, I made the comment to her that she was in a room with 4 or 5 other males. If they had the opinion or theory that he was going to be overly aggressive towards her, or that she was in harm's way, they would have jumped on his head immediately. Me knowing 2 of the people that were in that room, I know for a fact that she was not threatened at all. And like I said, I cannot speak for her because as a woman, she has the right to feel any way she wants to feel. And I respect that. And like I said, Monica, I respect your hustle. I respect your grind. I respected everything that you've done. But, we do have a lot of women these days that feel that they can step toe-to-toe or feel that they can say any and everything they want to a man. And then when a man responds back, they pull the over-aggression.
It's no different when women, we speak up or we get she's the angry black woman. So it's a double-edged sword. I'll take that and I'll own that. Now, I heard the conversation and I didn't, I guess because I'm used to guys kind of getting a little rowdy, and maybe it's just me being insensitive. I just don't get that moved by when someone is being that aggressive in tone. I don't feel threatened by that, but that doesn't mean that the next woman doesn't. So, granted, that situation happened. When I heard, I was like, what is going on? Why did she walk out? Like, I was asking you questions because I couldn't see it. I could only hear it.
Right.
But it didn't sound like it was anything that was threatening to me in a manner that would have made me walk away. But sometimes, like I told you, I'm a runner. When somebody frustrates me, instead of keep arguing back and forth, I will get up and walk off.
Okay, and that's another thing I do want to extend my apologies to her, because I stated that there should be no point in time that someone makes you get up out of your chair and walk off of your own show. I'm going to applaud you by stating that you handled the situation in the way that you felt best in order to keep it from escalating. So you just walked away from it. I never think that a woman should be in a situation where they feel unsafe, especially when they're in an environment filled with multiple men. Like I said, I was just speaking from a perspective as I knew two of the people that were in that room and knew that if she was in harm's way, if she felt threatened and made it known that she felt threatened, that the two people that I know would have checked, said yes.
Trust me, there's a history, so it would have been real easy to be like, chill out, bruh.
Exactly.
You in the wrong place.
But, with that being said, I mean, with what I've stated in the past, there are a lot of times where women feel that in this new age of women empowerment, and I'm all for that. Get out, do your thing, get your bag, what have you. But do you still, see yourself on an equivalent level where, I can say any and everything that I want, and I know that I'm talking to a man, so there are certain boundaries that he cannot cross in responding to me.
There are some times that women will get mad and will think that that man is going to remain a gentleman at all times and at all costs, and that's just a calculated risk that we take. Mm-hmm. My rule is don't take what you can't dish. So if I'm not able to sit there and hold my own, or fact check you how I need to or whatever, at the end of the day, just because you lose the argument doesn't mean that everything is lost. Okay, you lost that argument. I'm not going to keep arguing with you. And you can clearly say that. That's how you feel. That's your personal opinion. And there are ways for us to defend ourselves in that manner. And she could have, but that's up to her how she felt she dealt with it best. That's her discretion. But I do think sometimes we do pull that card and hoping that you guys will remain gentlemen, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not that we're in it. Not that you're trying to be disrespectful or come off in that manner. It's just like sometimes the conversation starts one way and it just kind of levels up and goes from there.
So you said there are times that you enter into the conversation knowing that we can pull that card.
Not necessarily. It's always in the back of your mind. You're a woman, so I would always think that.
But that's an unfair advantage, though, so to speak.
No, for me to think that you're going to always be on your best behavior.
It's like I tell you, that's a get out of jail free card, and so that's an unfair advantage.
Okay, well, if you feel that way, sir, that's your way. I'm not going to argue with you.
As the Cover 2 crowd giggles behind us,
right. I'm just saying, I'm not going to waste my time. For me, I know my limits. I'm not going to sit up there and keep going back and forth, and I said what I said. That's what I'm going to I said what I said. And if that's what you feel like it's a get out of jail free card, sue the person who wrote it. It is what it is. Women, we come in, we do think that you're going to always be this gentleman, and sometimes you're not. Like, you threw that bottle of water on me. I still hold a grudge. It's in the back of my mind.
Wow, you don't really take that serious, huh?
What?
And we talk about that was years ago. Ages.
No, I did that one time in a relationship.
Alfie, that was 2 houses ago.
Yeah, but we're done. But I digress. All I'm saying is that I always think you're gonna be a gentleman. And that one day you fool me, I just know you won't fool me again. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, you can't fool me again.
Can't fool me again.
Right. That's it.
You've been listening to J. Cole a little bit too much.
That's it.
No, I mean, I just think that, like I said, I'm all for the woman empowerment and what have you, but we do just have to acknowledge that sometimes the scales are not equally balanced, because there is a certain level that you guys can go to and know that we can't respond in a certain level. I mean, had that been another female she was holding that conversation with,
she would have never walked that.
She would have never left.
Never. I agree. But she would have known how to de-escalate that real quick, or you would have already been ready to be like, okay, I don't have to do this. So can we get off the I'm sorry, I'm apologetic tour, because I'm not even on it. I'm not that one for that.
That's I extended my apology, and like I said, just the fact that I didn't acknowledge her feelings at that particular point in time.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's your apology.
Had I been at that particular point in time, I never would have escalated to the point that I am now. Mm-hmm. I mean, even in my conversation with her, I told her it should have been handled differently. It should have just been said, hey, Mike,
well, we know that you're very opinionated. You're very opinionated. Very quiet, but you're low-key very opinionated. You are you can be one and the same. See, in other stuff, you're very quiet and mild-mannered and low-key, but let you get something that you get passionate about. You get downright
I need
in
an example on that one.
Way.
Example, please.
Example is, that wasn't even your conversation. And you going back and forth, all in somebody else's mail, checking their mail, going back and forth for somebody else.
I mean, my man posted a comment, I posted a reply to it, and then all of a sudden I get ambushed.
What the rest of the Ohio people that was posting on there?
Oh, they was just liking everything.
They just high-fiving and liking. They should. Why that? Because they seen you arguing back and forth. Hey, listen,
it was like a Kanye thing. I don't care if they talk good or bad about me. As long as they talking about me. They talking.
It's not even worth it. Sometimes I don't even.
Don't tell them to go.
See? Look at that. So you be chiming in, but you ain't jump on that conversation. See, because you picking and choosing your battles. Sometimes you don't need to. You don't have to speak on everything. You don't have to speak on everything. That's what it is.
Solomon, got this.
But that's what it is.
Okay, so wrapping up and heading into Mother's Day, is any closing comments you gonna leave our viewers with?
I just simply want to say shout out to all those moms. Mom, you always see the Mother's Day places be packed to capacity, won't you? Those Father's Day, you can walk up and get a seat. So mothers out here putting in that work.
You get a free Egg McMuffins and what have you.
They putting in the work.
Father's Day don't get nothing.
Well, y'all better do a better job. All I'm saying.
Really?
That's all I'm saying. But no, shout out to all the mothers. I know this is a difficult time of year for some of us, who mothers have gone. My cousins included, they always have a big thing for their mom on Mother's Day, even on her birthday. It's tough, So by no stretch of the imagination do I take that for granted, being a mom and even just those mothers out there. So continue to be those amazing moms. Continue to show up for your kids and enjoy your day. Even if the best part of the day is sometimes when you don't have your kids on Mother's Day. Daddies, y'all take a note out of that book, okay? Just want to leave y'all with that.
What if she went hint, wink, wink?
Nah, she gonna be with her kids on Mother's Day.
Who? Not me.
You gonna be with your kids on Mother's
Whatever.
Day.
Go ahead. So, and also there's a time. May is Mental Health Awareness. Please be aware of yourself. Like, it's be kind to others. The things you say, sometimes people take it and hold on to those things, even if you're just being lighthearted. So, just keep in consideration.
And I'm going to close out the show by saying Happy Mother's Day to all the females out there. I especially want to give a shout out to my aunts, my grandmother, my cousins that are mothers and what have you. I know the struggle is real, but somehow y'all are holding it together and making sure that, you're doing the best that you possibly can to make sure that your kids are taken care of. I love you all. And we will be back next week with episode 10. Please stay tuned or keep in contact with us through the DMs. Follow us on Instagram to make sure that you are informed about what's going on next week. I got some ideas in mind. I'm going to try to pull together.
We have a guest.
Episode 10 might be big. Hey, listen, we have a guest, but also some other things going on. So for our constant followers on there, keep informed, stay tuned. Episode 10 should be a big one, and if it's as big as I think it's going to be something you want to tune into. So until next week, my name is Solomon Davis. I'm with
Shannon Royal Davis.
We'll see you next week on His, Hers, and Ours.
Stepping up tonight, dress fly, grab a little bite. Call to the bar, couple of drinks in, let me know what you're thinking. Leaving the scene, chemistry between seems to heat.
Shout out to Izzy.
Don't know for sure, but let's go the next road. The best night to get more, so hold tight, don't let go. Come on in, be with me forever. I want you all night long. Come on in, be with me forever. I want you all night long. Netflix in the chair. The best bet is real, the chest letting it feel. The sex best is ill. The next session in this lesson, we've been sweating, spin the final from line, no bridge. It rhymes slow.